13-game winning streak on the line here for the A's. The front runners in the American League West right now 3 up on the Angels. Swung on, fly ball, deep right field. They've done it again!
On September 4th, 2002, Oakland Athletics first baseman Scott Hatteberg blasted a first-pitch fastball off of Kansas City Royals pitcher Jason Grimsley over the wall in right field, walking off the Oakland Athletics' 20th straight win in style. No other team in the history of the American League had ever won 20 straight games, and no other team in baseball was built through sabermetrics like the Athletics were. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, sabermetrics is defined as the detailed statistical analysis of baseball data as for the purposes of evaluating player performance and developing playing strategies. Since the beginning of the century, baseball has become enamored with the use of sabermetrics. While many baseball purists remain skeptical of the business of sabermetrics, almost every MLB team has come around to using sabermetrics in some form. Here is a clip from an interview with Hawk Harrelson, former Major League player, manager, and general manager. In this clip, he talks about why he doesn't believe in the use of sabermetrics.
And there are things in there, numbers, if you'll revisit that thing that I said, I also said there's a place in baseball for numbers. But I also said that it's the most overrated issue to come into baseball in the last 10 or 15 years, and I stand by that because it's not ready yet. Down the road 40 or 50 years, when you can put some of those categories, you got your OBPS and all that and the VORPs, when they put in TW, and then interface those numbers with TW under that category, then you might have something cooking.
What
TW is?
Yeah, what is that?
That's the will to win.
Yeah, well,
TW, and Harold knows exactly what I'm saying. Let me tell you something. With Harold's a good example. The guy standing right next to you. People 40 or 50 years from now look at Harold Reynolds' numbers, they say, okay, he was a pretty good player. Well, Harold was not a pretty good player. He was an outstanding player because he did things that you can't put numbers on. Harold was the kind of guy, he would stand there and turn a double play when he knew he was going to take a hit from guys like myself or Kirk Gibson, whoever going to knock him into the left field. He'd get it over, turn it over, and then take the hit. He'd also steal a base in late innings of a ball game when everybody in the ballpark knew he was going to steal. He'd also make that diving stop of a ground ball going to his left to keep a man going from first to third.
Despite the constant claims about the will to win from Hawk Harrelson and other purists, it is clear that sabermetrics is the future of baseball and a better way to construct a winning team than conventional methods. In the interview, Hawk Harrelson talked about a statistic called VORP. VORP calculates how many runs a batter adds to his team's total throughout the course of a season over that number in which an average major leaguer would contribute. For pitchers, VORP is tailored to measure the converse of what it measures for hitters, the number of runs a pitcher prevents from scoring over that an average pitcher would allow to score. As you can see, VORP is an incredibly complex statistical equation and is impossible to observe with the naked eye during a baseball game. So how have sabermetrics affected baseball? Why is Hawk Harrelson wrong, and why should teams prioritize sabermetrical statistics over traditional statistics? Let's examine the last 3 teams to win the World Series: the Boston Red Sox, the Houston Astros, and the Chicago Cubs, to see how their use of sabermetrics allowed them to become the best teams in baseball. In 2014, only 5 years ago, all 3 of these teams were some of the worst teams in baseball, with the Cubs winning 73 games, the Red Sox winning 71 games, and the Astros only winning 70 games. In 2 short years in 2016, the Astros won 84 games, only missing out on the playoffs by 3 wins. The Red Sox won the American League East with 93 wins, and the Cubs won the National League Central with 103 wins and would go on to win the World Series.
5-1 the final tonight.
All 3 teams were built by general managers who embraced sabermetrics while building their teams. Cubs general manager Theo Epstein even was recognized by Forbes as the greatest leader in the world in 2017, ahead of huge global figures such as Pope Francis, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, and the late great John McCain. When these teams were drafting, signing, and trading for players to build their teams, they focused on players who performed well in categories such as VORP and other sabermetrical statistics such as WAR, FIP, and AERA. While baseball purists may still argue against sabermetrics, it is obvious that in order for teams to succeed in the future, they must embrace sabermetrics. Teams continue to find ways to change how the game is played through the use of advanced statistics. Last year, the Tampa Bay Rays decided to use relief pitchers such as Sergio Romo at the beginning of games. The Rays used equations to determine that doing this would give them an advantage over other teams. No other team has fully embraced this strategy yet, and so far this year, the Rays are winning their division. Undoubtedly, baseball will continue to change rapidly because of sabermetrics. In my opinion, teams like the Rays who continue to test and experiment new strategies will be the most likely to win in the future.